going on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes review of Umbrella Academy Season 2 on Netflix. But you can Netflix and chill. Maybe I'm not on this show.
Yeah, you can.
Attention.
I mean,
But
You
wanna
can
pay
Netflix and chill.
You want to Netflix and chill on this show? But you're not going to know what's going to happen.
well, the reason why he's saying you can is because he's done it.
Yeah,
Wait,
absolutely.
You
You can.
totally can.
Wait a minute, you fucked to the podcast before, Mike?
The podcast? Wait, I thought we were talking about to
Netflix and chilling,
Umbrella
Orlando,
Academy.
not the podcast.
Oh,
No,
I
not the
thought,
podcast, man.
oh, I thought you had the
Nigga, what?
podcast on. I was like, you Netflix and you've done it with your voice in the background. That's weird.
Yeah. You're
That's
sick,
weird.
man.
Not even his.
It's
but
a whole bunch of guys in the background
everyone's.
talking.
The only way Mike could get hard is by listening to our voices. It makes sense.
Nah, man, that's crazy.
You imagine when he's right there, Orlando just starts talking. He goes, "No!"
That's a horrible mental image.
Man. That's so bad. I am Armando. With me today, as always, is Pedro.
Hello, hello.
Back for the first time, Mike.
Hey.
And God's Plan, Orlando.
Yo.
What's going on? What's going on, man? All right, gents. Today, we're going to be talking about Umbrella Academy. And as we usually do, Pedro, give us the premise. If you want, I mean, I think we should just jump into this, right? Spoiler free,
Nah,
my
I
ass.
yeah,
Let's
I think
just
we
go
need
into it.
I think we need a premise.
Oh, you
Okay,
want
so
the
the premise is this group of kids gets adopted and becomes a superhero team, and then season 1 happens, and then now they're stuck in the 60s. How about that?
Amazing premise.
Short and sweet.
All right. So let's not even do what we usually do, with small thoughts about it. Let's just everyone say your rating and if you recommend it. And then we'll go straight into spoilers, because I think talking about this show, we just have to get into it. Because it's season 2, you have to see season 1 anyways. So this is already you're not gonna listen to this before you saw season 1 anyway. So
Some people do.
but let's go from my top, Mike.
What do I give it? I give it a 3. 3.5.
Okay.
I thought the first. Oh wait, we're going straight into.
Yeah, just your very, very brief thoughts, and if you recommend it.
Brief thoughts. I recommend it. I think it was better than the first season. I felt like the first half was kind of slow.
Okay, good one. Orlando.
I agree with Mike. 3.5. I really liked it. I thought the chemistry was better in this season. It's just kind of retread too much similar plot lines. But other than that, overall good season.
Exactly.
You recommend it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Pedro.
4 out of 5 recommended. Better than the first season. I actually thought the season was more streamlined. It was less side plots, which is nice. That's about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say exactly what Pedro said. 4 out of 5. It's very streamlined, and I really like that, because last season was very bloated with a lot of stuff happening. It was messy, but it was still good. Don't get me wrong. But I like season 2 more than season 1, and I do recommend it. So let's get into it, gents. Here are spoilers ahead. We all recommend it. Go watch it. If you've seen it, let's have a discussion. All right, guys, let's get into it. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers.
Cool.
All right, who wants to kick it off?
I can start it off. I liked how they they started it, where it kind of shows how everyone gets stranded into different parts of the 60s, and then you see it through the point of view of 5, of him meeting them, and then you get to see where they're at, rather than rather than having each person have their own episode. It was just right from the point where it's
They were all
Okay.
scattered.
Well, and then even before that, when you get to see all of them together before he goes back for the apocalypse, you get to see them all at level 99 when they maxed out their skill trees. I thought that was pretty sick.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes of the show so far, because this is where you see them at their most potential, of all of them using their powers. because the thing is
and,
that like
and in teamwork too.
and teamwork. Yeah, I think that's one of the. I'm gonna save that for later. But I feel like that opening sequence with them, with their just wrecking stuff, it was like perfect. Because I don't think you've seen them all do that together. Maybe when they were little,
Right.
but it was different. Now they kind of understand what they were doing, and it was just amazing. Like that whole sequence was great, great. And I wish there was more of that.
It reminded me of in every Avengers movie, there's that
Exactly.
one shot where everyone has like a quick moment to shine, in like without cutting. They were totally copying that.
Yeah,
And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here, but they're all gonna die. So I already knew when he went back. I'm like, this scene isn't gonna be shown again because this is a totally different
Timeline.
future.
I'm curious,
So-
Pedro. Comparing this to the comic series 2, is it the same or did they change it up?
It's like almost completely different. Almost completely different. They the second book, which is pretty much kind of this season, is them trying to stop the Kennedy assassination, and then stop the older 5 while they're at it, and then they're trying to run away from what were those 2 assassins called? Hazel and Cha-Cha.
Oh, okay.
Because Hazel and Cha-Cha weren't in the first part. They just added them there in the show. But this is where they come out in the comic.
Okay.
But overall, I think the show did a better job than the comic. The comic is very like brutal. Everyone acts like an asshole, and it's like no forgiveness. Like it's very just bam. Here it is. Here's some dark comedy aspects into it, and it's like here's the brutal like reality that they're all fucked up people, and then bam, then you got to wait for the next one. So it's like it's good, but it's also like damn. If you read like, because I read the first 2 back to back, and after a while I was like, damn, this is dark. Like fuck. So I had to pause before I read the third part, which I don't even know if it's gonna have anything to do with the third season, but we'll see. But overall, I think the show does a better job of making them more likable and giving them more chemistry with each other.
Yeah, that's
good.
cool. That's good to know. One of the things that I really enjoyed was them being all together, and I think this show is strongest when they're together.
Yeah.
When they're interacting with each other, like they literally, like in the last episode when they all kind of just came together and they were doing stuff, like the last 2, I think that they're them being together and their interaction is what makes the show. And I hate how the show consistently tries to kind of break them up into different things, but I think the show is stronger with them, all doing their thing and going through stuff together, like fighting missions and going. Their interaction is just I really like them all.
It's just too many characters to have in the same spot, so that's why they split them up. But in this season, they split them up differently than they did in the first season, so you still got to see different interactions.
Yeah, but they had already split them up in the first season. It was just weird to me that they would. It felt like, at least for the first half of the season, it felt like watching season 1 all over again.
Oh yeah,
true.
The same plot line. They the family is split up or whatever, trying to fight Doomsday. It felt really repetitive, and the first half I didn't really like all that much. It was once they all started to come together more, and it was more than just 2 of them at a time. That's when I was like, okay, I see. It's getting a little better.
Yeah, I agree. I think
one of the side plots that. Oh no, you first, Orlando.
Yeah, I want to just piggyback off what Mike said. Like, I think the show falls a bit flat when it just continues on that same Doomsday thread and the same thing where like, Val, I think is her name, that she's again Vanya. She's again the reason for like the apocalypse. It's just like, okay, here we go again. So
Well,
it was
I mean,
just.
you don't know that till that scene, but yeah, I do agree with that.
I mean, I figured that was the case, like maybe like an episode or 2 before it happened. I was like, is this the same thing? Because like clearly, like it's one of those things where you try to stop it, but you stopping it is what causes it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I just really didn't really vibe with that that part of the plot. But I agree, once they're all together, it's literally the best part of the show.
Yeah, I think I think one of the things that like what you were saying, that it was Vanya again. I think the reveal of the reason why the apocalypse started was very underwhelming. I do agree with that. That it should have been something, I don't even know, just something not her again.
Yeah.
Like maybe even the two fives fighting each other would have been the problem.
Yeah,
Which I thought
anybody
was
else.
I thought it was a very underwhelming fight.
Extremely.
Like I was like, oh shit. 5 and 5, they're gonna be teleporting, they're gonna go fucking crazy, and then you just see them like teleporting and missing each other. I'm like, this is not cool. It's not even visually cool. Like they did that scene where, what was it? Where I forgot his name right now. Luther. Where Luther's like in slow motion. I think he got hit, and you see him like that, and they're dancing around. There's music, and I'm
He
like,
got hit in the balls.
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah, I love the show's musical cues.
Dude, the musical
that
cues on
one-
this show are insane this season. I think
Like
they
all
hit
of them were
almost
on.
all of them.
All
Yeah.
of them were on point except that one. That one, I'm like, it sounds cool, but there's no action that's vibing with it. It just felt like a very boring shot. That shot where the camera was going around him, I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
And it just
then
went
there was
on for
pointless
too long.
slow-mo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
It dragged.
I mean, a lot of this season, you know how we were saying, like, if it wasn't Vanya, it could be something else. I mean, a lot of the season was mostly about, like, Diego trying just so crazy about, like, the JFK assassination
Oh my
that
God.
if it ended up being him as the reason, like, that would have been cool, you know, because he was so, like, gung-ho about it. So, like, it was just,
Right.
like, the fact that it had to be Vanya again was just, like, kind of, like, annoying for us as a
Yeah.
viewer to watch.
Definitely. Yeah, I liked how the show didn't, because I felt like last season it was a lot of Luther. So Luther really took like a back seat, and they put more Diego for sure in this one. And
I didn't mind that at all, though.
oh, one of the things, now that I'm looking at the cast, I'm like, wait a minute, what was the other thing I was gonna say? So I remember last season, one of my complaints was Klaus's side thing where he went to Vietnam, and I'm like, that's just weird because there was no payoff to it. There was nothing to it. But the fact that they piggybacked that to this season makes it go, oh, okay, it's not so bad then, because it actually makes sense with the time they're in right now. That there was, there was a thread that they followed, not just cut it off.
I agree.
So I didn't mind it once the second season used it, but if they wouldn't have brought it up again, I would have been like, yo, that was really pointless. So
I didn't hate that in season 1, but I do like that they continued that plot line in this one. What was random
And I
to
just
me
like-
was what's his name, Ben, falling in love with the black girl randomly.
yes, I felt like there was like some extra scenes that they cut that had to do with that, because you only get that one shot where he's like staring at her, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I guess he's got a crush. But then all the other episodes past that didn't bring it up, and then at the end he brought it up again, and you're like, oh, there should have been more scenes with that for sure.
The fact that he was back though for this season, I thought was great. Like, I thought they were gonna try to find a way to keep him in, because I thought he added so much of a good balance with him and Klaus.
He did.
And it was kind of like a buddy cop kind of situation where like Klaus is always getting into some shit and Ben kind of like helps him out of it. So I really love that dynamic, and it sucks that like it seems like he might not be back again for the next season. Well, actually, his doppelganger.
Well, he is back.
There, you see, they're bringing him back, but he's gonna be, I guess, like the evil version, or
yeah.
Yeah.
the Bizarro. So you're still gonna get it, but you're gonna get it differently. Now it might even be Klaus going like, "Come on, Ben, remember the good old days," or some bullshit. So
You know what I never got a hang of is Klaus's power. So Klaus has the ability to talk to dead people, but are
Yes.
these the dead people who are in like purgatory?
no, it's the dead people that are hanging around in
Yeah,
that
they're
area.
essentially they're so no, it's not purgatory then. It's the people who can't leave essentially.
Yeah, the ones who haven't moved on.
Yeah. Okay.
Which you see in the flashback reveal. That's why he got Ben, because Ben hadn't moved on yet. He was still wandering around there because he was too scared to get to the light,
Yeah.
and that's when he got him to keep him there. So yeah, so that's pretty much what he does. And even in the flashback, not the flashback, whatever. Whenever he summoned the army in his maxed out version, you got
Yeah.
to see, like, just judging by the clothing, it looked like it was people that died in that area.
Yeah, they literally had just died.
And same thing, the one that caught him when he was like, catch me, when he was falling, it was like a farmer that grabbed him, and they're in a farming area, so it just makes sense. So he just grabs whatever ghost is around him and can control.
The part that confused me is Ben's. Is it Ben's ability to possess people, or is that because of his connection to
That's
Klaus?
just because he's a ghost.
So
Yeah.
ghosts can just possess people, period? Or is it because Ben as a ghost can possess people? I was so confused.
I think all ghosts can possess. It just depends on how like strong they are, and I guess Ben has such a close connection with them that he was able to do it. But Ben's power was just that he can like summon monsters out of
Okay.
him.
I thought
Like
it was
his
a
body is a
shapeshifter.
portal for Cthulhu monsters. I mean, they can change it because they changed Diego's powers from the comic. In the comic, Diego's powers is that he's Aquaman, essentially. He could swim really fast and he can hold his breath forever. And then his father was like, that's useless. You need to learn something. So he learned how to throw knives. That's it. Now in the show, they were like, fuck it. We're just going to roll with the knives and maybe make him Magneto.
So that's what I got from this season, because last season I just thought he was just I didn't really know what his power was. I thought he was just really good at aiming. I thought he was Bullseye essentially.
Yeah.
But then here
I
I feel like he is like a mini Magneto, where he just manipulates metal.
Yeah, I also kind of thought, I'm like, either he does move the metal in the first season or he's really good at Hawkeye. But once I saw his version where he did like that flip and all the Russian soldiers shot at him and you saw the bullets weave, I was like, oh, that's what they're doing, some type of like Magneto. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's definitely better than the one that he has in the comics, which he barely uses, because how often do you need to swim in the water for a long time? So they did a good choice of changing him.
That's true.
Okay. And the other thing I liked about this season is how there was more. You get to see more powered people, because in the beginning of season 1, the opening sequence is essentially that there's a whole bunch of kids born on this day. They have abilities.
Yeah,
And
there's
like, yo,
43.
where the fuck are all these other kids at? Because we only see 7 of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see some more, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
At first, I was trying to figure out what her power was. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Is she another And then once I saw the others, I'm like, oh, she's Peter Petrelli.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Layla, she's a copycat, right? She copy, but only one at a
Yeah.
time. I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what they
Peter
were
Petrelli.
saying.
Oh, you never seen
From-
Heroes, so you
I
wouldn't
did see
know that.
Heroes, but that's such an old reference.
It is an old reference. Well, whatever.
It's a apt reference.
That's kind of
For
what
all
I
the comic
expected
book-
from season 1, though, for them to elaborate on all of these kids. Maybe not show all the kids, but at least what happened to make those, how many,
Yeah,
like 40 something
show
kids
others.
get powers? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that happened for a reason.
You guys
Yeah.
think that's ever going to be explained?
Maybe the show will explain it a little bit eventually. Something to do with aliens, I'm sure, since he is an alien. But the comic hasn't explained it, and the comic hasn't shown any of the other superpowered people. So the show's already doing way more to explain the universe.
Oh, sure.
But-
What do you guys
sucks.
think? Mike, Pedro, what do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like they're not going to. I feel like it's going to be The Walking Dead, where it's all about, okay, from here on out, and not how everything started.
Which in Walking Dead, he already said the virus is from space. FYI.
The virus is from space.
Came
Shit.
from space.
I didn't know that.
But that's the comic book. The show doesn't do it. That's just the comic book.
Gotcha.
So the kid Harlan, he has powers, or did he get powers from Vanya?
He got it from Vanya, and I didn't like that. I was not a fan of that story, and that he keeps it. I'm just like, so Vanya can just pass on her powers to everyone? Like, that's a little weird.
That was a little weird.
That was very weird.
So when she first gave him like CPR, and you clearly saw that there was something going into him, I was like, oh, she gave him his voice back, because her thing had to do with sound. So I thought he was gonna start talking.
Yeah. I thought
And
she
then
was
I'm
hitting
like,
him.
all right.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, nothing's going on. And then once he showed the powers, I'm like, at first I thought time travel shit. I'm like, is she related? Is he related to her? And I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's the fucking CPR thing. Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that. Again, I'll have to see how season 3 does it, but so far it just felt like, I don't know, extra. I would have been fine with just them fighting all of the time travel people at the end as a group, rather than throwing Harlan into it like that. But we'll see.
One thing I would say is I hope the handler doesn't come back, because I hated the fact that she came back.
Yeah,
It's
and
pointless.
she's totally made up just for the show. The original handler is the fishbowl guy. I think I had mentioned it when we were reviewing season 1. So I'm glad that they showed him, but they killed him off real quickly. Which is funny, because the way he gets killed off like that is how 5 kills him in the comic. It was like a direct reference to that, but it was the handler that killed him instead of 5's. So, but...
Yeah, I didn't like the handler coming back at all.
I actually liked it. I liked it because it showed her relationship with her quote unquote daughter. I actually
Layla.
liked that. Layla, yeah. They showed how she was manipulating her and everything. I actually didn't mind that she was back.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
But she's gone for good this time. Unless she's definitely gone for good.
She should have been gone for good the first time.
Yeah.
She got shot in the head.
Yeah. Yeah, but then they wrote the whole, oh, thanks for that metal plate in my head. But in this one, they just shot the shit out of her.
If they really want to, they can find a way.
Yeah.
That's true. But speaking of that, what did you guys think of the 3 Swedish
Oh, I hated them.
hitmen?
Man, I hated those guys.
I didn't care
Really?
for them.
I hated
I
them
wouldn't
more.
say
I
hated
didn't
them,
like.
care.
I didn't like Hazel and Cha Cha in the first season. I wish they were back. I hated these guys even more. It just seems so pointless. That's
Yeah,
another
I
thing
mean,
that just
they-
made it seem like season 1, because again they're getting chased by the company or whatever, these bounty hunters, and
Yeah.
it felt redundant.
You're right. You're right. I felt like there's just a lot of things that they wanted to do in 1 that they didn't get a chance to do for some reason, and they're like, oh, let's just do it again our way. So yeah, definitely this one felt like a lot of copying of the first one. So in the comic, none of the characters are black. So obviously when they have Allison, she's black, and of course they go back to the 60s. So you got to bring it up. I did like that her side story brought in the hard questions that a lot of time travel shows never do, which is that there's whites only areas, they're racist as fuck, and they're sexist as fuck. So you're gonna get some shit. So I actually liked her side thing, and the fact that she was actually still joining in the fight. Which I found funny when they were saying, "Oh, you guys haven't done anything to manipulate the timeline, have you?" And they're all like, "Oh shit, yeah, they've all been doing shit to change things."
Except for Vanya.
Except for Vanya, that's true.
Like when I was going through, when I was watching this show, I'm like, don't none of these motherfuckers know about time travel? Like,
Yeah.
you don't fuck with time. And the worst culprit of it all is that they talked to their dad, which severely affected their
Altered it.
future.
Yeah.
I
what I'm
I think for the most part, except for the dad part, I feel like when, especially like Vanya was in there for like 2 or 3 years. Like, I think for the most part, some of them were just like, "This is my
No,
life
I think
now."
Vanya
Like,
was there for a few months.
nah, dude, she was there
Yeah,
for like
she-
a year or two. She got married.
No,
Vanya?
that's
No.
Not Vanya, I mean
you're talking
Allison.
Adi-
Sorry about
Allison.
Allison, yeah.
Yeah, Allison.
Yeah,
was there
Allison.
for 2 years.
Yeah, I think some of them probably thought that was life as they know it. So it's like, fuck it, might as well do what I
Right.
want to, you know.
So
Make
one
camp.
of the things that annoyed me about Vanya's is that, damn, now I'm saying Vanya because you were saying it about Allison. Is I mean, at the end she ended up bringing it up, but I'm like, didn't you have a daughter? How come you're not bringing up your daughter at all? Like you
I
have
forgot she had a
whole-
daughter. I
Oh,
completely
Yeah,
forgot.
so-
right.
and
Totally
then-
forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot.
She,
Until
I
they
remember
mentioned
the
it
whole-
later. Until she's like, "Oh, I can
Yeah, the whole-
see," and she says the name again. I'm like, "Oh shit, she does have a daughter that she hasn't talked about at all."
The whole time I'm watching the show, I'm just telling myself, is she not going to bring up her daughter to any of her family now that they've reunited? And finally at the end, oh, I get to see her again. I'm like, about goddamn time you remember you got a daughter? The whole first season you were fighting for custody.
Yeah.
And now you're just like, oh, fuck it. Let me just marry people and fight the good fight and fuck it. But now, and now I'm curious to see how the daughter's going to be with this whole new future.
Oh shit, yeah.
Damn, what if she's
even
part of the
exists.
academy?
If she even exists, that's true. Which, at this rate, she was forgotten this season, so she might as well just be forgotten in the next one.
But
Yeah.
no,
Nah,
what
man.
is that?
Watch they
what
make
is
her
that?
part of this Sparrow Academy.
But the Sparrow Academy, is it the same kids? Because
Yeah, that's
No.
that's what I'm curious about.
I don't think
It's
so.
not
I hope
because
not.
if you notice, they left them all shadowed because they haven't casted them yet.
Yeah.
So Ryan, one of Shanti's friends, he brought up a good point. He was thinking that them interacting with their father in the past showed how like of a disappointment they were. So when he went to go get the kids again, he got totally different kids, so he wouldn't have to deal with their disappointment.
Damn.
And since he never saw Ben, he didn't get to see he was a disappointment. So that's why he got Ben and put him as the leader, the new badass leader or whatever.
That makes perfect
I'm
sense.
like, damn, that's a pretty good
That
point.
makes sense.
And the other one I was thinking
That's
was
something
that
he
they
would
don't have
do.
the mother. They don't have the mother figure anymore because she leaves him after she finds out he has something to do with the JFK assassination. So no mother figure and a disappointed father. He's a hard ass. So that next season is going to be pretty interesting.
but the mother
So
was a
I'll-
robot though.
right? That's what that
No.
confused
Yeah.
me as well.
no, she becomes a robot after she dies.
Also, when she dies, he resurrects her as a robot.
Yep.
Is that
That's
what
what it
happened? Oh, yeah, I forgot.
The version that we saw was the real her, which had to do with like Pogo and everything.
Yeah, but when
But
did
she dies somehow.
Yeah, but that's what I figured. I figured that like her leaving, he would still do it like in her like replica because he can't get over the fact that she left.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because if you look at her, she's the exact same age that she is in season 1, like exactly the same. So that's when you first met her.
Right, but what I'm saying is that I thought like that those events and her leaving was like the reason why he made her.
Oh
Like-
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it is possible, but I don't think so because the reason why she found out about it is because Diego said something, and that's already changing the timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Pogo left too. So he doesn't have Pogo anymore.
No,
No, Pogo didn't leave.
Yeah, because he said my monkey ran away.
But
He
he walked
mentioned
away
that.
with
He ended
Pogo.
After he scratched him, he went right back on his back.
Yeah.
No, because remember later on he's like, my girl left me, my monkey ran away, and he mentioned something else, and then he's like, I want nothing to do with you kids.
So that even adds more to why they're dark, why they're a dark copy of Umbrella Academy because they don't have Pogo or the mother figure. So yeah, they're
Because
definitely
I
fucking
think Pogo
badasses.
becomes Pogo because of the girl,
yes, yeah, because she was raised by
and like she loved Pogo, and then like somehow they made him more intelligent or some shit.
Yeah. What they did was they injected that thing that they gave Luther to save him, and that's why it's the same injection to bring you back to life, and that's why it had the side effect for Luther to become an ape, because it was the same thing they used to bring Pogo back. So I thought that was kind of cool that they showed that it cleared it up a little bit, because I was like, how random it made him an ape. Like, the fuck.
True.
Because they used
But-
the ape
but-
DNA.
Yeah, but now you got to see why, because that was the same thing they used. Trying to remember the other thing I was gonna say.
What I was gonna say is, what do you guys think the handler saw in the room at the end, in that time room,
What do you mean?
when she killed the guy, the guy that calls her into the room
Oh, the boy.
and all the screens?
She's like, I need another one of those kids. Another one of those kids with superpowers.
So she saw the boy. Essentially, you guys think?
That's what I thought she saw.
Oh yeah.
What's the guy's name? Hans? I don't remember this fucker's name. But yeah, she saw him going crazy and probably that he has the same powers
Yeah.
as Vanya. So she was like, fuck, I need one of those.
Yeah. Because she just wants to get all these powered kids and manipulate them to make them her own, assassins, so she could get up on top. So yeah, that's what it was. Just another weapon for her to use.
Yeah, so I figured.
All right, because I thought she saw something different on the screen. I felt like she saw the alternate timeline and it was going towards her favor. And I think that's what
No,
I thought she saw in the room.
I think it was just that. Like, she probably even saw like the gunshot scene or something. Just something when he was using his powers.
Yeah, so she tried to get that. Fuck that.
Okay.
Oh, one of the things that should have been funny, but it wasn't, I thought it was kind of pointless, was it showed 5 side effects for meeting the other 5s.
That was pretty pointless.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this could be funny. It's not part of the comic, but whatever. They can add, and then it didn't have a payoff either. So I'm just like,
That's why I didn't like about it, because it had no payoff.
yeah,
That was
I
my
think.
problem with it.
So to me, the show was very streamlined until the part where the handler tells him he needs to have everyone come in at this time, and then they can leave. From that episode on, I felt is when things started getting like a few unnecessary, like side things started happening. So it lost me a little bit in the last 3 episodes, but overall, to me, it was an improvement of season 1. Kind of the same now that Mike's bringing up all the similarities. You do have a point, but I still think it was better than season 1.
Yeah, I agree with that. What was weird to me is, okay, Ben died as a kid, but his spirit was aging. I don't know. That shit didn't make any sense to me.
They brought it up in season 1. I think he just imagines how he would look when he's older. It was something like that. They I think Klaus had mentioned it in the first season.
Okay. Then I definitely won't remember that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that though. That's another character that's not in the comic at all. There is no Ben. Ben is just dead.
And I
He
thought
only
there was
shows
like
up
a
in
mystery
flashbacks.
to how he died.
Yeah, I mean it still is. They haven't showed it up in the. It has something to do with they went on a mission and Luther made a wrong call and got him killed. That's pretty much what it is.
No, so I guess they're never gonna bring back that plot thread.
They might, because now think about it. Ben is going to be a big part of the next season because
True.
he's going to be the antagonist. So
Maybe-
yeah, they could totally bring that up.
It could be that same mission that they go on, but then Ben makes the right call.
Could be
And that's how he got the scar.
the badass scar. It could be. They're definitely going to dive into it more, because the show likes to dive into that stuff. Unlike the comic that keeps everything very vague.
Hopefully.
And they'll bring up more of the alien shit too, because they hinted at it really quickly in season 1 when you saw the ship, and then now in this season when he takes off
Maybe
the
I should have
mask.
watched season 1. Well,
Yeah, it was
rewatch
very
season
briefly.
1.
When they were going through his background, you saw that.
Yeah. In season 1, at the very, very end, there was a flashback of where he's saying goodbye to I think it was the mother that's the robot. I think he was saying goodbye to her, and then he leaves and goes to no, it was Vanya's mom. Yeah, he leaves and then goes to goes on his ship and leaves.
So essentially,
And
he's
then
like
now
a
he takes off the mask.
He's a reptilian alien. It seems like.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It might be. It might be those lizard people that, some of our friends think is real.
People are crazy. He's a badass, though. He was beating the shit out of Diego.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, hell yeah. That's pretty cool that they're showing him that he wasn't just an old dude. Like, he was actually just fucking people up.
Yeah.
It's curious to know his background, like what brought him to Earth, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird though, because like now that you know he's an alien, and essentially he wanted to assassinate Kennedy. Like, what agenda is he working
he
on?
wanted
Like,
to save Kennedy.
Yeah.
He didn't want to assassinate Kennedy. He was making a deal with those men to save Kennedy, and
Okay.
then those men went and still killed him, and that's why he kind of ate everybody at the end.
But yeah, you're wondering why he, like, what is his like motive and what's his agenda? Like.
Right.
Yeah.
So who killed
that's-
Kennedy? I'm confused. That part confused because I thought 5 killed Kennedy.
Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy in the with the in the bushes. You don't know
Well,
that.
They left it vague on purpose. It's the exact same thing in the comic. They like, oh, we saved it, and then you hear gunshots, and then Kennedy's dead, and you're like, oh, what happened? Actually, no, I take that back. In the comic, it was yeah. This is where I'm telling you how everyone is dark. So in the comic, Allison is in the car with Kennedy. She's disguised as Kennedy's wife. And then she goes, I heard a rumor your head blew up. the back of your head exploded, and then that's where you see it just pop back. So Allison did it.
Shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Everyone's an asshole in the comic.
Yeah, I couldn't see Allison in the show doing that at all.
Yeah, like I said, it's totally different. Because that's what started the apocalypse. Yeah, just like in the show, what started the apocalypse was that he survived.
I don't know. I'm just hoping on the next season they're done with the apocalypse for good.
Yeah. I hope
They're
next
done with the
season's all about the
apocalypse.
powers.
They're done splitting up the family.
Next season,
Yeah, right?
yeah. Next season is not. It's definitely going to be. Oh my god, we got to get back to our timeline where we're the Umbrella Academy and not the Sparrow with these evil kids.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's going to be. Rather than Apocalypse, is going to be like, oh, we need our old Ben back or some shit.
It's funny, after all this
And I
time
also
traveling... Oh, go for it, Mike. Go for it.
Well, I'm sick of Allison not wanting to use her powers for like the first half of the for the show or whatever.
But you could tell she got no control, though. When she does it, she like really fucking grinds into it, and you're like, all right, homicidal maniac.
I'd rather that than her. I shouldn't. But yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'd rather see all the characters kind of like given to their powers and use it well. Like even Klaus doesn't use his powers hardly, and then Vanya, it seems like now she's getting somewhat of a control of her powers. It's like, I think the only person that truly uses their powers on a constant level is Luther at this point.
No, Fives.
And Five.
Yeah, Fives. When he
Five
jumps
uses this shit all the time.
But you know what's funny though is that
Fives is a Nightcrawler.
There was so many briefcases. Like, yo, why don't you grab a couple just in case shit didn't plan out? Like now you have to like. He's like, oh, can I go back home? Like, yeah, pick one. Yo, save some of them. You should take some with you. Like,
yeah, in case it gets shot up again.
I felt that question was stupid, and it's like, oh, can you help us go back to our time? I'm like, dude, there's fucking briefcases everywhere. Why would you even ask that question? If you see a sea of briefcases, you fucking idiot.
Just take one and go.
Oh god. But I do hope that next season is mostly about meeting more powered people, and the family literally more sticking together.
Yeah.
Because the bickering between them of like not bickering, but like them not being the how do you call it, the disunion when they're apart is just kind of when they hate each other. I think it's just all kind of pointless.
Yeah.
I think the show flows better when they're all kind of getting along together and trying to solve things together.
I think season 3 is going to have more of that because they're going to have an entire team to fight against. That's no doubt going to be probably just Ben, and all those other shadowed people are new characters with new powers. So I'm excited to see where they go with it.
For sure. That's where it's at. Any last thoughts, gents, before we cut this?
No, that's about it, man.
No. Good show.
Overall, good season.
Man, the whole time I was thinking like, man, I can't wait to watch the next season of The Boys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah,
going to be
man.
weekly, I think, which is going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the only
whatever.
part. I'll still watch it.
I can't set my Prime. I'll wait until it's all out.
Good old Butcher. Diabolical.
All right, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed this review of the Umbrella Academy Season 2 on Netflix. Let us know your thoughts of this season. Did you like it better than 1? Did you like 2? Or 1? Let us know.
Definitely too.
Till next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.
Outro.